Hello, hello. Lisa Williams here, your systems strategist. I want to take you through how I track every client web design project in Notion. So this is a full walkthrough of what I do, how I change things, how I manage the project, and this will be a demo. We'll be looking at a Rachel Green web design project. So let's get started. So first of all, this is everything I need to manage a full web design project. So it's in one Notion dashboard. And what you're seeing here is my web design project dashboard, which we'll be getting into in just a moment. Everything is all connected. The client information, the project, the task, all the files, the feedback, the client portal, it's all uh, in this one Notion dashboard. So this is the stack that I want to get in, let you take a minute, and if any of this is you, then you're in the right place. So this is what I like to call the 17 tabs chaos stack. So your client communication, you've got your Gmail, your Google Drive, or whatever email you use, whatever drive, online cloud storage you use, but it's messy, got shared with me because clients are just sharing different things. No one place to go for everything. You've got the project that lives in multiple places. You've got your docs, your sheets, whatever you have. And then you've got tools that don't talk to each other. So Calendly, for scheduling, I know a lot of Calendly users out there. You've got your CRMs, your Dubsado. For me, I used Moxie for a long time. I don't use that anymore. You can go to my website to read the blog post on why I don't use it anymore and why I switched to another platform. And you may have Trello or Asana, you've got Slack, anything else that I'm missing here. You've got where did I save that? So you're trying to search all the time. You're trying to go to your Google Drive and search. You've got a browser search. You've got no, even if you are using Notion, it's just not structured correctly. So it's still confusing. And you're always asking yourself, where are your clients' login credentials? Like that's another thing. Project tasks, you've got a Google Drive folder, like I mentioned, all of these things. So if you had to find them, like just even these three things in the next 60 seconds, could you? And if you're a little nervous or if you said no, stay with me because I'm showing you a better way. So we're going to walk through exactly how this works. So here is my web design project dashboard. And now I'm showing you a demo, Rachel Green. I wish that she was our client. And this Go Live Sprint is one of our offers. So at this point, when I have her project here, so her project is here, and I even have tasks down here. That this task linked view of my task database is filtered, or I mean grouped by project. So there's just the one project here, but these are all the tasks. These are in my onboarding. So I'm going to show you this in the template. But once I get to this point, Rachel has, of course, submitted the inquiry. We've had a discovery call. She's signed the agreement. She's paid the deposit. And now we've had our kickoff call. And now we're in this project. We're in an active project. So if you look over on the right-hand side, I've got buttons that will add these new project tasks and a new call if I need to add them right from here. This is my navigation for all of our web design projects. So we have the inquiry form submission. You've got the project message center that I have that will put messages into the client portal. And then email templates that I use frequently. This are clients. This clients is our client CRM, which is now held in Notion and then over in Fluent CRM on our website. And then content workbook. So when they submit their content workbook, it will show up here. And this is the content workbook. We've already had the strategy call, but if you have a strategy questionnaire, like a questionnaire before you start the project or before you have the kickoff call, that might be a separate database because you're collecting different information with these. So I don't want all these databases to be all the same, to be in one database. I don't want my inquiry forms, my message center, my content workbooks, all that to be in one database because there's too much information that I need to sort through. So they're separate databases, but they are all related to each other. That's the key. And then down here are the resources. These are coming from my resource database. So I have an entire resource database for my entire workspace, but these are just the ones that are labeled for a web design project. So these are specific like SOPs that we can refer to. I say we, but it's me doing this right now, but you have a team. This would be great to have. So these are different. If I open this in a side peek, you can see that I have a checklist here. I have the process, what happens, different things. So I have all of this here so that it's easily accessible. And then I have different calls coming up, whatever calls I have upcoming. So it can be a discovery call, and I know it says discovery call here, which it should really be saying kickoff call because we've already had this call, but you get the idea. So my calls would show up down here for my clients that I'm working with currently. And then any calls for current clients may or may not show up here. You could always filter for that, but this is specifically for web design projects. So I have an entire, you know, headquarters that I have for all of the different projects and like current clients. So once we launch their website, that goes into a different place. So what I have here, let me open this up. So in my projects, so this is a linked view of my web design projects database, which is separate from my all projects database. So I have three templates here, and the one I'm going to show you is this sprint project because this is what she's doing right here. Rachel Green is doing a sprint project. These other two templates work the same way. So if I click on the edit, this is my template that I'm going to use for the web design project. So whenever a new web design project is created, or, when I click new project, it's going to add the default, actually, it'll add the default template, or you can make it just add an empty template, and then you can choose what template you want to use. So either one. But here is where, first I have a button that goes back to the dashboard. See there, it goes back to the dashboard. And then let me open this again. And then on the left-hand side, this is where the message center is going to be. So all of this is blank right now because this is a template that's going to be used for each project. So there's no clients associated with this one. It's just a template. And then I've got some documents where per client, I can upload different things that I may need. The client will not see this page. This is my project management page. This is where I manage the entire web design project. Down here, I have buttons that are set up to automatically add tasks to this tasks database. Okay. So if I open one of these buttons, I have when the button is clicked. So these buttons are fantastic, by the way. If you're not using buttons in your Notion, I encourage you to do so. So once I click this button, it is going to add all of these tasks into the task database. See, web design task database. So it's going to add them all to the task database as an empty template. And side note, if I click here, you can see I've got a task template schedule kickoff call. If you want a template for any of these tasks, you can create them in your task database, and then you can choose if you want to have one of these templates used for this task. So it's just a little side note. But this button will add all of these tasks. Then I'm going to click done. So each of these buttons are set up the same way. These do take a minute to set up, but once they're set up, it's fantastic because I just click the button and it will add the task to the task database. So if you're curious how I do all of this and how this is all set up, all of this is in my Web Designer Project HQ on the website. It's a full template. Everything that I'm showing you here is all set up for you. So you can check that out on my website. So now I have a task, a linked view of the task database, and there is a calendar here, and then I can give client access. We don't see anything here right now, but I can give client access to their tasks for their client portal. And then this here is the client portal. And I do have a video on my channel about setting up a client portal, so you may want to watch that. But this is very similar to what I have. And of course, this is pretty basic. I've seen a lot of Notion client portals that are very fancy and have all these different things. But it's like really, our clients just want to see any messages that they have, any documents that they can upload or I've uploaded for them. tasks and calls. If they've got a call that's coming up and they have tasks to do, that's really all they need to see. And the client will have full access to this. This is what you would invite your client to. So all of that is in this template. Okay, so when a new project is created, it is going to give this type to the project, and then I will fill in the rest once I've created it. So if I come back here, I've got this is my full web design project database. And so I'm going to open up Rachel's again and click this button so I can get back to the dashboard. So that is these are templates in my project database. And then here is the template in my task database. So I click edit. There we go. This is an old project. This is an old call, but this is what it would look like. I just have to update this, but this is what it would look like. And they could book their call actually right in this task. Okay, so you might want to have something like this. If you have specific places you need them to go, you can share links with them in this task. You can put anything on this template that you would want. And then when you add your task, either manually or with a button, then you would choose this template to then be that task. You would choose this template for that task. So then down here is my task database. And of course, we have different statuses. You can add any different statuses you want. You would just click on edit property and you would add your tasks. So, or I mean your statuses. So when you set up your task database, you would have status as a property, and there's some default ones, and then you can add your own. Okay, I only have these few right now. They're fine for me. It's just me. If I were to have a team or, somebody working with me on this project, I might give a different status. You can also assign. I have assign, and then I have this done button. So or done checkbox. So when I click this done checkbox, so like if this is all done, I would click this done checkbox and it will remove it from there we go, it's removed. It will remove it from my tasks here because these are all in progress and not started. I don't need to see the done tasks right here, okay? So I have an automation set up that when a checkbox is set to status, or I'm sorry, when a the done is checked, then the status is set to done. And the reason why it's removed from here is because I have this filtered by statuses that are not complete. So any of these statuses will show up here. So there's many ways, very many, very interesting ways that you can filter by your different properties, and you're able to see exactly what you want to see. So now when I open up Rachel's project, this is her project now. So here's all of her information at the top. And I've got a start date and a target launch. I've got content, any notes. I can add notes right here. Here's any calls. You can see the calls, and then any of the messages are right here. So I have this here, but I can also view them up here. So I wouldn't really need them right here, this message center, and then the calls I don't have here. But you wouldn't need even the message center here if you want to use it up here. So this right here is the way the page is laid out and the customized layout. So you can play around with that. But here are the tasks that we're in the middle of, or not started and in progress. Right here on the project dashboard, basically, this is Rachel's project dashboard where I manage the project. I have the calendar here, shows the different tasks on the calendar. And this is where I can give clients access. So you'll see that under this client access, there is a key. So I have set up rules that say rules in my task database that says anyone in this client access property, which is a person property, can edit this page. And what that means is that this will show up in Rachel's client portal. So I have added her here to client access. She does not need access to these other tasks, so she won't see them in her client portal. If I need to add anything here, I can. Now, the template, let me see, I'm going to delete that and I'm going to add this. And I think I changed the template from the last time. So this is a way that you can do that. So there we go. So now you see that I have the documents here, which is instead of links, I have just these three here I can always add. But you see, if you don't have the right template or you've updated your template, if you simply remove all of this like we did, I just did this and I deleted it all and it gave me the chance to choose this template again. That's a way to, fix a mistake you made. Or if you do update a template, you can go back and update your project. So that's what I've done here is I've just updated it. Here's the message center, but this documents area is what changed. Instead of just having text links there, I've got these where I can embed a Google Drive folder or I can browse Google Drive. You've got to connect your Google Drive. I can upload or embed a PDF a PDF file. And this is a PDF I can embed right here. So if I open this up, you'll see the task itself, and I can type anything I want on there. If I click the view details, I will have properties over here. I can choose the client from this task, but it is related to the project already. So I don't have to add the client if I don't want to right there. But up here is where I have the client related. This is our CRM, our database here in Notion. If I click this open, and click on Rachel Green, her client template will come over here. And I've got calls and trainings. I've got ongoing time tracking. So this is for all our clients. I've got information up here and I've got also properties over here of everything that I need. And I can have all of this show up right here, but it's always here when I have it. So these are properties that are inside our client database. But you'll notice that the client database here is the project that is related. And if I have ongoing projects, so I have ongoing projects here that are in my main projects database. Once we launch Rachel's website, she's then in our care and support plan, and any additional projects that we do throughout her time with us, hopefully a long time with us, I would add them in my projects database and they would show up here. So everything is related, uh, the client database, the client page, their client dashboard. Okay. So once I'm in a project, everything is done here. I do have automations when a client task is assigned. It will send an email to that client that this task, and it will give a link to the page in this project is ready for I'm going to change it right now, you to complete. Please complete this by the trigger page due date. So what this means is that when I give client access, or actually when I assign, I'm going to do this right now when I assign, when I assign the project, I can also, or I'm sorry, when I give Rachel access, I'm going to put assign to, I can also assign it to her. So when I assign it to her, client task assigned, it is now just sent her an email that a task has been assigned. This just allows her to see it in her portal. Okay, and I could probably remove myself from there. So this allows her to see it in the portal. Let me move this. And this is who it's assigned to. Okay, so this is how I manage a web design project. I move through the stages. So when I'm ready for the next stage, say that all of these are done. All I have to do is do the checkbox right here. It'll take a minute for all these to be done. Now, I don't have to have all of these done before I add the next task, but if now we're in phase 2, I click that button and all of my tasks added here that I'm now in the build sprint. So this is a 1-week design project. So I'm in the build sprint now. And all of these due dates are already set based on my project start date. Okay. So, which I feel like my project start date is a little off. Um, these are, yeah, these are 1 day after the start date. So I must have changed my start date after I started this, but that's all right. Things happen. So if I put my start date back, then these dates would be correct. But you get the idea. So now we're in the phase 2 build sprint, and now these are in progress. and these are in progress, and these are still not started, etc. So I'm able to open any of these tasks. If I need to make any notes on here, I can, especially if you're working with a team. You can add notes on here. There's a page discussion that I don't have available here because it is just me. I'm not really discussing with anyone. If I were to bring someone on, I would have the page discussion area added here. So this is the way I manage the project, and we continue this process. I continue through until this post launch, and then they become an ongoing client. And I change my state, or I change my, sorry about that. I change my stage into build and design. And if I go back to the dashboard, you see now that here's Rachel's project. If I do the property visibility to the stage, I can see the stage. I can do the target launch. I might even do the type, which the name gives me the type. But you see, you can have any of these showing that you want. Next follow-up date, if you have, I have that property here. Any risk flags, I have that property. So like if I have a risk flag property, so that if anything is going astray, if I go here and I've got risk flags, I can add a risk flag that her copy is delayed. So if I go back to the dashboard, I will see right away that her copy is delayed, and that is a risk flag. Now, this is viewed as a list. You could view this in different ways. So I could view it as a board. I could view it as a gallery, which I would have properties available. I can view it on a calendar. I can view it on a timeline, all these different things. I just like it in a list because it's nice and compact. And I can see, although I would probably put the target launch right in the beginning. So I know this is the target launch. This is the stage that we're in. This is the type of package it is, and this is a risk flag. So I've got all the information I need right away. If I need to reach out to Rachel, I can. Or if I need to do something else with the project itself, I can. And you will see now we have all of these new tasks on here. I could even, if I wanted to show the time, you can put a time estimate here if you wanted to. These are all, you could have the phase if you wanted to. I don't right here, but if you wanted to know these tasks are in whatever phase they're in, like this build and design stage, you could have that shown up here. You could add a property and a related property, and that would show up here, or you can add a roll up and the stage would show up here. Okay, you can add a roll up from this database to this database, and the stage would, you could have the project stage show up here so you knew what stage you were in. So all in all, this is what I have for my web design project dashboard. If I look at the inquiry form submissions, here's our inquiry form. I've got a lot of different information that shows up here, but this comes directly from a Fluent form that is on our website. All the information is funneled into this database. And then when we're ready for a live project, if we've completed everything and they're now a client, when I can when I when I check complete, that all the onboarding, everything is complete, and then I go and I add the we go back to her. Then I go back to her, click back a couple times. There we go. Then I go back to the design project dashboard and I create a new project. I just click new. And now I have a new web design project and my template is duplicating. And here's my template. This is for my full web design project, so it's just a little bit different. But yeah, that's all I do. And then I rename this and I'm ready to go. If I go back to my dashboard, you'll see I have, oh, that gets me back. I went back too far. Right here, my web design project dashboard. I have a new project here and I'm ready to go. So I hope this has been helpful and wonderful. I will talk to you soon. Grab my Web Designer Project HQ template off my website. It's $49. Everything we've done here and more is included in that template. Alrighty, talk to you soon. Bye.